Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a recovering computer science major, and when I was studying computer science, I thought, oh, neural networks, they're never going to work. So just take whatever I say with a grain of salt. All right, I'd like to just note for the record what happened. Congress established in the House of Representatives a bipartisan AI task force. I was the co-chair, and there were 12 Democrats, 12 Republicans, and we all agreed on over 80 recommendations in a bipartisan manner, a number of which could be turned into legislation. And instead, the Trump administration basically says, no, we don't want Congress doing anything, and we'll go to the states and not have them do anything. We'll have zero regulation. And the Trump administration tried to put in a 10-year moratorium ban on states that was opposed by 17 Republican governors, 20 Republican attorney generals, and 130 Republican state lawmakers. And then that 10-year proposed ban failed 99-1 in the US Senate, a spectacular rejection of what the administration was trying to do. So now we're in a place where the actual reality is, it's not whether we're going to regulate AI. It's, do you want 17 states doing it, or do you want Congress to do it? And with that lead in, Mr. Thier, I know you were supportive of AI moratorium. Your approach failed. So now we're in this new sort of position since it's failed. I'm curious, what areas do you think Congress should regulate in? Because it's clear we're not going to preempt with nothing, sure, right? What are the things that you think that would be helpful for the American innovation?
Sure. Well, first of all, Congressman, I want to thank you for your leadership on this with Representative Olbernalty, with the House AI Task Force, and then also the legislation that you did mention that you sponsored on this. I think that was a good starting building block for what we can do. We've heard many other members here today talk about the sort of things that NIST could be doing, or the new CASI, which again is a carryover from the AI Safety Institute. We could take some of the ideas that are already been percolating at the state level, including in California and New York and others, to basically build upon what can be done in federal legislation. And you can combine that with other sort of targeted actions. I want to remind everyone here, people say Congress doesn't do anything. Has everybody already forgotten about the Take It Down Act? Passed overwhelmingly, right? We can take targeted approaches to this, and we can take broad approaches. The point is that we can't have the technocratic design of regulation being done in a patchwork like this, or that is going to create serious problems for American innovators as we continue to try to race against China to build out our capacity. We have to balance safety and innovation at the same time. So we do need to have some preemption. In my testimony, I spelled it out in great detail how to do this, but reserve certain powers to the states. I want to agree with the Democratic Attorney General of Massachusetts, who said, quote, existing state consumer protection, anti-discrimination, data security laws still apply to emerging technology, including AI systems, as they would in any other context. That's exactly right. States can continue to do that, but we need to have a federal framework to make sure we get this done right.
Thank you. Just as a side, I think there may have been some disparagement of California. I just want to note, Apple is headquartered in California, Google, Meta, Anthropic, NVIDIA. Turns out that California does pretty darn well with the laws that we have. Professor Richards, I have a question for you. California is now proposing SB 53. Have you looked at that in the California legislature at all?
Not at the level of detail that I want to answer questions under oath on it.
Okay, then that's fine. Now, you, in your testimony, thinks
the
there
gentleman,
should be...
Before you came in, Mr. Frazier actually has studied it and is quite favorable in many areas of it. If you.
Oh, so tell me about SB 53. What is your view of it?
Earlier in my remarks, I said that SB 53 is the least bad state bill I've seen with respect to AI development. I think that it gets right a lot of the emphasis on information sharing that we know is essential to leading to better AI policy. So the sorts of disclosures that SB 53 calls for from labs, I think, is a very positive step. I would like to see it done at a federal level and not at the state level. I also think that the whistleblower protections called for in SB 53 are important to, again, contribute more information sharing. But I will note that, for example, Senator Grassley has a whistleblower bill pending before Congress that I would prefer to be the vehicle for those sorts of protections.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, Professor Richards, let me go back to you. So your view is there should be no preemption whatsoever. So let me just sort of ask you this question that you can answer because my time will be up soon. When a large language model comes out, it goes through this enormous amount of training and then post-training and all this, and you have a model. So let's say one state says, you know, we're going to mandate testing. Another state says we're not going to mandate testing. A third state says, not only going to mandate testing, we're going to mandate the 27 specific areas where you have to test. And then another state says, we're going to go even further than that and do 35 specific areas and be very specific what you have to disclose, and on and on. How does even technically an AI company deal with that when they have one model? Do they just say, we're just not going to be able to allow this to happen, for example, in Missouri or California or Florida? Like, how does it even work if you have 17 states regulating one AI model? And I'll yield back and let him answer.
I was giving you all that extra time so you can let him answer, and if there's a follow-up within reason, we'll let you have it. It's the advantage of being nearly at the end.
There we go. Thank you.
Under that hypothetical, Congressman, I think it would be very challenging for a company to apply, but it is not my position that there should be no preemption, just that we should not consider broad preemption of state AI laws. Under appropriate circumstances, a sensible federal law will be naturally preemptive, and I would welcome a reasonable federal AI statute, just as I have welcomed and advocated for a reasonable federal privacy statute, which the United States is the only advanced economy that does not have one.
Great, thank you. I yield back.